Alright, so in this video what I'm going to do is just show you guys how to make a turnaround video of your Zbrush file. The reason for this is that way if you go to apply for a job, what they're going to want to see are basically your turnarounds of your model. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm just going to use my little Velociraptor guy here. So first thing you want to do is basically get this dude centered on your screen here, or dudette, depending on what you have. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I want to. The nice thing is you don't have to do anything. It actually makes the turntables for you, which is pretty sweet. But you have to do a couple of settings. So if you go up to where it says Movie, go to Movie. You go up to Movie. Then what you want to do basically is we want to do Movie. We want to do a turntable, and it will automatically make it for us. There's other things you can do too, but turntables make the most sense. Don't do Window because it actually does everything. It does the interface and all of it. We want just dock, and we want large. We want to basically do as large as we can do, right? So the actual size that it is. Okay, so that's the basics. The next thing we want to do are that is fine. Oops. That one I don't care about. Timeline, blah, blah, blah. Or overlay image. Okay. So by default, it's going to give this stupid Z logo thing. And you could do your own logo, but this is what it has by default. I don't want that. If you wanted, you click on this, you put your own image in there, and you can. This is the offset. I'm going to take the opacity all the way to 0. So basically, there is no overlay. And the same thing with the title image. I'm going to take the fade in to 0 and the fade out to 0. So instead of what that will do is that when you go to make it, it'll have like. Again, you can change the image, but it'll have like a big ZBrush guy, and it fades into the thing, and then you see it, and then it fades out. But nobody really wants to see those. You could do those in post, meaning like in After Effects or Premiere or whatever your editor is. It doesn't make sense to do that here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to go ahead and click Turntable, and you're going to see what it's going to do is it's going to render it for us. Now, I'm going to watch it. Make sure your thing's out of the way, too, because sometimes it renders it, but I'm going to watch it and make sure that it doesn't go off the screen. Okay, so in my case it doesn't. It actually did a pretty good job, and it's going to do one full 360. It does that by default. It knows, but you can also change that as well. I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. And you can see this little thing up here happening. If you hit escape, it'll stop it. So if you know immediately yours is already going off the screen, you can hit escape and be like, oh, it's no good. Now, let's say it did go off the screen, like I didn't position it well. And mine's a little bit more difficult. If you have like a guy that's, more slender, but mine's kind of long, so it's harder to tell on the left and right. But if for some reason it was off, what you would do is just recenter it. And then, for one, actually, too, let me just show you this. You could just play the movie, hit play movie, and it'll actually play the movie for you. So you can see what it actually is going to look like. That's what it looks like. But if you didn't like it, all you have to do is basically go to delete. You hit delete. And then when you hit delete, it'll start fresh. Okay? Because here's the thing. If I go to, like, let's say I'm like, oh, I want to adjust it now, and I shift it over, and then I hit the turntable again, it's going to again record it, but it's going to keep the old one. So every time you hit turntable or you do any of these other movie things, it'll happen one after the other after the other. Which in some ways is good, because you could like, oh, I'm going to do a close-up on his face and record that, and then do a close-up on this, and it'll do them for you. But quite frankly, you would just do that in, some other program. But anyway, so if you do make any changes, you want to make sure you hit delete. And then, do the turntable again. And if it looks good, mine looked fine, I'm happy with that. Then, you keep that one. Okay, so right now it does one turntable. And that is fine. That's good. But the other thing they're going to want to see is actually your geometry. So I'm going to hit Shift F. And what you're going to notice is, I'm going to go to my subtool. Make sure I'm on my dude here. I'm going to hit Shift F. So I'm on this now, okay? Now, if you can't do this part, that's fine. But you see, it's super high res. So I'm actually going to go, while I have him, I'm going to go to my geometry. And I'm just going to lower my subdivision. Let's say, what does 1 get us? Let's see what this does at 1. Because you can see the geometry a little bit. Okay, so that's a little too low. Let's see what level 2. Okay, I'm going to go to level 2. So that way they can see the geometry. All right, so, okay, that looks good. And now I'm going to also do another turntable. So I'm going to go back to movie. And I'm going to hit turntable again. Make sure you move your cursor out of the way. And you're going to see it's going to do, again, the turntable. Make sure you don't move the camera around at all, because I want this to be perfectly placed where the other one is. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this guy back up to, I think I had it on 7. Sorry about my phone there. And then I'm going to hit Shift F to turn that back off, or it's right here, this poly frame. And then again, I'm going to go ahead and hit turntable again. Okay. And, oh crap, I forgot to turn the eyes on. The eyes are off, but I would turn the eye. Well, now it's going to look a little bit weird, but he would do something with that as well. But I'm just going to go ahead and go with that for now. And we're going to let it do its thing. And you can see it's going over here. Alright, it's almost there. And there we go. Okay, so now if I were to go to movie and hit play movie, you're going to see I'm going to see the one video, and you're going to see it's automatically going to go to the second one, which was the one with the wireframe, and then it's going to go back to that again. And you could, do layers of these, like do a low res version, and then show the wireframe, and then do the high res version. You could do a couple of them, but by making sure we didn't move the camera or anything, it puts them right in a row. And this way they get longer. If I only did the 2, then there isn't as much time of it spinning around. So you might even want to do another one. Just hit movie, turntable again, so they have another, thing of it, right? Or maybe do 2 wireframes in a row. But make sure you do at least one of each. Then once you're happy with those, and you know it, you clap your hands, and then you just need to export it. Go ahead and click on the H to export the highest quality, and then you just hit export. It's going to ask where you want to save it. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure it's to the desktop, and I'm going to save it. I already did this before, but I'm going to save over the ZBrush movie. It's going to make an MPEG, and then you're going to see it's going to render it out, and then you're going to have a MPEG video that you should be able to play on, most things. And this is the kind of thing you're going to want to use for your demo reels. Okay, so you should hang on to this, because even in the future, if you don't have ZBrush, you'll at least have this turntable, so you get a good idea of what you have. Okay, and so basically, if I were to look at my video, which I'm not going to, but it's just a movie file now. So basically, we can show those in class and what have you. But I want you to make these videos. Submit your ZBrush files. But if you can make these videos, and actually if you submitted these as well, that'd be really great. But I want to use them for the VCP show, so we can submit some turnarounds. All right.